1866, U.S. Treaty with the Seminole Nation. Primary document. Post-Civil War Division of Indian Territory, Oklahoma. Image courtesy In Search of the Racial Frontier by Quintard Taylor. March 21, 1866. Ratified, July 19, 1866. Proclaimed, August 16, 1866. Whereas existing treaties between the United States and the Seminole Nation are insufficient to meet their mutual necessities, and whereas the Seminole Nation made a treaty with the so-called Confederate States, August 1, 1861, whereby they threw off their allegiance to the United States and unsettled their treaty relations with the United States, and thereby incurred the liability of forfeiture of all lands and other property held by grant or gift of the United States. And whereas a treaty of peace and amity was entered into between the United States and the Seminole and other tribes at Fort Smith, September 13, 1865, whereby the Seminoles revoked, cancelled, and repudiated the said treaty with the so-called Confederate States, and whereas the United States, through its commissioners, in said treaty of peace promised to enter into treaty with the Seminole Nation to arrange and settle all questions relating to and growing out of said treaty with the so-called Confederate States, and whereas the United States, in view of said treaty of the Seminole Nation with the enemies of the government of the United States, and the consequent liabilities of said Seminole Nation, and in view of its urgent necessities for more lands in the Indian Territory, requires a cession by said Seminole Nation of part of its present reservation, and is willing to pay therefore a reasonable price, while at the same time providing new and adequate land for them. Now, therefore, the United States, by its commissioners aforesaid, and the above-named delegates of the Seminole Nation, the day and year above written, mutually stipulate and agree, on behalf of the respective parties, as follows, to wit. Article 1. There shall be perpetual peace between the United States and the Seminole Nation, and the Seminoles agree to be and remain firm allies of the United States, and always faithfully aid the government thereof to suppress insurrection and put down its enemies. The Seminoles also agree to remain at peace with all other Indian tribes and with themselves. In return for these pledges of peace and friendship, the United States guarantee them quiet possession of their country and protection against hostilities on the part of other tribes, and in the event of such hostilities, that the tribe commencing and prosecuting the same shall make just reparation therefor. Therefore the Seminoles agree to a military occupation of their country at the option and expense of the United States. A general amnesty of all past offenses against the laws of the United States, committed by any member of the Seminole Nation, is hereby declared, and the Seminoles, anxious for the restoration of kind and friendly feelings among themselves, do hereby declare an amnesty for all past offenses against their government, and no Indian or Indians shall be prescribed, or any act of forfeiture or confiscation passed against those who have remained friendly to or taken up arms against the United States. But they shall enjoy equal privileges with other members of said tribe, and all laws heretofore passed inconsistent herewith are hereby declared inoperative. Article 2. The Seminole Nation covenant that henceforth in said nation slavery shall not exist, nor involuntary servitude, except for and in punishment of crime, whereof the offending party shall first have been duly convicted in accordance with law, applicable to all the members of said nation. And inasmuch as there are among the Seminoles many persons of African descent and blood, who have no interest or property in the soil, and no recognized civil rights, it is stipulated that hereafter these persons, and their descendants, and such other of the same race, as shall be permitted by said nation to settle there, shall have and enjoy all the rights of native citizens, and the laws of said nation shall be equally binding upon all persons of whatever race or color, who may be adopted as citizens or members of said tribe. Article 3.
Grand uprising, free people. I have to interject right here saying many persons of African descent and blood who have no interest or property in the soil and no recognized civil rights. It is stipulated that hereafter these persons and their descendants and such other of the same race, I shall be permitted by said nation to settle there, shall have enjoyed all the rights of native citizens. All of these things we have to scrutinize, because if I am in my land, my country, why would I need the United States to grant me anything or regulate any of my activity? And then me I put it in treaty. Something gone wrong here. This is why them say the US make a lot of treaties and break every one of them. Because them knows to the people them we are signatory to these treaties usually are some other kind of imposters. Because usually a handful of people that govern the mass. And the mass not really know what go on. It's just a handful of Freemasonic. Remember, I'm telling us about Albert Pike come around here, come create him Freemasonic 5 civilized Indian tribe, and it look like them every group them get them just classify it as 5 civilized tribe. Because this now have nothing to do with the Iroquois Confederacy. However, we can look and we see Choctaw, Chickasaw, Seminole, all of these, Creek, we make up this 5 civilized tribe. So these things are just information where we can't just accept. We have to scrutinize these things, really. African descent, African descendant, and any other. This is why I say all kind of foreign people is here saying they are all kind of different things. But these documents are from the 1800s, laying the foundation for the migration and immigration, and how to reclassify the original people and put other people in their place.
3. In compliance with the desire of the United States to locate other Indians and freedmen thereon, the Seminoles cede and convey to the United States their entire domain, being the tract of land ceded to the Seminole Indians by the Creek Nation under the provisions of Article 1st, Treaty of the United States with the Creeks and Seminoles, made and concluded at Washington, D.C., August 7, 1856. In consideration of said grant and cession of their lands, estimated at 2,169,080, 2,169,080 acres, the United States agree to pay said Seminole Nation the sum of $325,362, said purchase being at the rate of 15 cents per acre. The United States, having obtained by grant of the Creek Nation the westerly half of their lands, hereby grant to the...
All of them things are fraudulent activity. All of them things, yeah. And these people have the audacity to make, and maintain them kind of documentation, yeah. Show them know the people, what them wipe out. Them just say, yo, these people ain't gonna ever rise again. And we already put other people in them place when they have no interest. We have to scrutinize these kind of legal documents. All treaty. This is why we question even the Maroon Treaty around here. And there is no way I, as a man, I go there in my place and I talk about, I better, genocide us all. Because the moment you give them just a little bit of room, just an inch, this is what happened. Foreigners are like an invasive species that never stop. The only thing what stop invasive species is fire. Yeah, man. You have to lit it up, man. And the only way, burn it.
Seminole Nation, the portion thereof hereafter described, which shall constitute the national domain of the Seminole Indians. Said lands so granted by the United States to the Seminole Nation are bounded and described as follows, to wit, beginning on the Canadian River, where the line dividing the Creek lands according to the terms of their sale to the United States by the Treaty of February the 6th, 1866, following said line due north to where said line crosses the North Fork of the Canadian River, thence up said North Fork of the Canadian River a distance sufficient to make 200,000 acres by running due south to the Canadian River, thence down said Canadian River to the place of beginning. In consideration of said cession of 200,000 acres of land described above, the Seminole Nation agrees to pay therefore the price of 50 cents per acre, amounting to the sum of $100,000, which amount shall be deducted from the sum paid by the United States for Seminole lands under the stipulations above written.
Oh man, this
The
thing
balance
that
due the
sound.
Seminole Nation after making said deduction, amounting to $100,000, the United States agreed to pay in the following manner, to wit, $30,000 shall be paid to enable the Seminoles to occupy, restore, and improve their farms, and to make their nation independent and self-sustaining, and shall be distributed for that purpose under the direction of the Secretary of the Interior. $20,000 shall be paid in like manner for the purpose of purchasing agricultural implements, seeds, cows, and other stock. $15,000 shall be paid for the erection of a mill suitable to accommodate said nation of Indians. $70,000 to remain in the United States Treasury, upon which the United States shall pay an annual interest of 5%. $50,000 of said sum of $70,000 shall be a permanent school fund, the interest of which shall be paid annually and appropriated to the support of schools. The remainder of the $70,000, being $20,000, shall remain a permanent fund, the interest of which shall be paid annually for the support of the Seminole government. $40,362 shall be appropriated and expended for subsisting said Indians, discriminating in favor of the destitute, all of which amounts, excepting the $70,000 to remain in the Treasury as a permanent fund, shall be paid upon the ratification of said treaty, and dispersed in such manner as the Secretary of the Interior may direct. The balance, $50,000, or so much thereof as may be necessary to pay the losses ascertained and awarded as hereinafter provided, shall be paid when said awards shall have been duly made and approved by the Secretary of the Interior. And in case said $50,000 shall be insufficient to pay all said awards, it shall be distributed pro rata to those whose claims are so allowed, and until said awards shall be thus paid, the United States agree to pay to said Indians, in such manner and for such purposes as the Secretary of the Interior may direct, interest at the rate of 5% per annum from the date of the ratification of this treaty. Article 4. To reimburse such members of the Seminole Nation as shall be duly adjudged to have remained loyal and faithful to their treaty relations to the United States during the recent rebellion of the so-called Confederate States for the losses actually sustained by them thereby, after the ratification of this treaty, or so soon thereafter as the Secretary of the Interior shall direct, he shall appoint a board of commissioners, not to exceed 3 in number, who shall proceed to the Seminole country, and investigate and determine said losses. Previous to said investigation, the agent of the Seminole Nation shall prepare a census, or enumeration of said tribe, and make a roll of all Seminoles, who did in no manner aid, or abet the enemies of the government, but remained loyal during said rebellion, and no award shall be made by said commissioners for such losses unless the name of the claimant appear on said roll, and no compensation shall be allowed any person for such losses whose name does not appear on said roll, unless said claimant, within 6 months from the date of the completion of said roll, furnishes proof satisfactory to said board, or to the Commissioner of Indian Affairs, that he has at all times remained loyal to the United States, according to his treaty obligations.
Wow. So the people them were upon the Dawes rolls are the people them were, you know, were loyal to the United States, who were supposed to be the Indians' enemy. So now we are saying the Seminoles here are entering our treaty, which you have the Choctaw, the Chickasaw, the Creek Nation, all of these other people has already entered the treaty or entered into a treaty with the United States. And I assume when we look at those treaties, it will structure similarly, where the US are grant these people. Remember, you know, a year place, but I guess, as them said, the victorious army confiscate the property, all land, all of these things. Remember, you know, the labor code with Abraham Lincoln, we can never forget that. So we have people now who know them are Indian on the mainland. They declare themselves as such and all of these things. However, may I look upon a treaty like this where the ancestors of the Indians or usurpers of those people are engaged in a treaty where they must say them, you know, them are cooperate in order to gain privileges, protection. So I find this thing interesting. You see, when we really read for ourselves, we can get for deduce what is, opposed to have somebody else read for us and a direct our thought process, you know, think this way. This is what it means. Now we are saying if it's a treaty, that means a group of people submit. A group of people submit to the will of the adversary or the enemy. Probably may I look at this the wrong way, but I mean, they are talking about the United States. They are talking about the mainland over there. They are talking about Indians. And we know there's a document where Congress has said them regulate all of these. It has said civilize Indians. The one them will submit. The one them will start work for the foreign power and move against their very own people. This is why when people talk about unity, I smile at it. We can always talk it. But without all our people on one accord, then it can never happen because we have too much sellout. We have too much people easily start worry about them things. They don't want to lose them things. They're privileged. They don't want to lose it. So them sell them mothers and them grandmothers. And, you know, inform on their fathers. Yeah, man. That's what happened. So the treaties all over the place. Everywhere you go, you see all kind of treaty. Yet the people them where is original here, you know, are in one of those state where need improving. And one of the first thing we need is correct information. Yeah, man. Without knowledge, we not get nowhere. So we really have to scrutinize everything now so we can weed out the adversarial spirits or the disagreeables amongst us. Yeah.
Obligations. All evidence touching said claims shall be taken by said commissioners, or any of them, under oath, and their awards made, together with the evidence, shall be transmitted to the Commissioner of Indian Affairs, for his approval, and that of the Secretary of the Interior. Said commissioners shall be paid by the United States such compensation as the Secretary of the Interior may direct. The provisions of this article shall extend to and embrace the claims for losses sustained by loyal members of said tribe, irrespective of race or color, whether at the time of said losses the claimants shall have been in servitude or not, provided said claimants are made.
What I mean, irrespective of race or color. You see what I'm going right here, people? So you say, oh, foreign people, graft themselves within the original people. And this is why I take exception to this open door policy. If I can't read and write legally, I not engage in a no contract nor treaty with nobody, because I won't trust any other man out there to represent me. I would be one of those wild Indian who say, back where with your treaty, and then me start war with the very ones them we are put treaty together. Only through me I got know, say, boy, there is no forgiveness for my ancestors where these foreign people wipe out. So it going on. If you want to come here and say no victorious, do for nothing, but leave us. Don't try regulate us. You understand? So this is how the sellout going with some of our people talk about them want, peace. So if you want peace, when a foreign nation a genocide you and your people, this is what I'm called a true Holocaust. But our people now view it this way. Why? Because the foreign man come with money. Listen to what this document I said. These people are selling their land for dollars. You see the trickery? From the get-go, these people, we as a people have, been deceived. And the moment you look for someone else to represent you, you're in trouble. And this is where we reach our people. And this is the mainland we are talking about. Yeah, man, and there is no Indian tribe over there. But you can say, yeah, we make treaty and the US, the United States, upheld these treaties. None. Look at what's going on now. The mainland is totally populated by foreigners. And the very foreigners have a foreign system that is oppressive to the original people, what I'm called black people, what I'm called native, what I'm called Indian, originally. And we have to pay attention, man. They are all over the place and we have missed this thing. How different race, irrespective of race or color, what that mean? In my tribe, the people them look like I. And this is why when I say House of Dallas, you talk about your tribe. You talk about your estate. You talk about your nation. Your house. This is how them separate we and mash we up. Them remove with tribal government and instill this corporate construct. And even the tribal government that was in place was usurped. Because a foreign man, the Spanish never come here, and I bring different them come and say them want conquest, so them a war, them a wipe out what them say. And trick what them can't wipe out. This is why we take exception to a lot of these so-called liberators and their liberation movement. Those things don't liberate absolutely no one. And we can prove it. Just look around. The people that is truly free are the individuals who are demonstrating that. The moment a group of individuals organize themselves that way, then we can say, true effect. Then you're going to see the beast really raise its head. All you want to do is just see one do it first, and that set the precedent. One autonomous Indian nation. The Indian nation when I have no connection to no Freemasonic organization. This is why our people are suffer. Because we always have put up some kind of people for lead us. And the moment these people go up there to start lead us or represent us, Babylon just absorb them and consume them, and them just sell them soul and sell the people out. This is why we say self-governance, which boy can chat for me? None, because I am he. Need no representation. Why? Am I not here? Remove the third party intervener from you. Let's remove the third party intervener from us. Them thing, man. Create the separation of entity. Yeah, man, I met them have to declare what it is, who it is, and where it is, and why it is, and how it is.
Made members of said tribe by the stipulations of this treaty. Article 5. The Seminole Nation hereby grant a right of way through their lands to any company which shall be duly authorized by Congress, and shall, with the express consent and approbation of the Secretary of the Interior, undertake to construct a railroad from any point on their eastern to their western or southern boundary. But said railroad company, together with all its agents and employees, shall be subject to the laws of the United States relating to the intercourse with Indian tribes, and also to such rules and regulations as may be prescribed by the Secretary of the Interior for that purpose, and such rules and regulations as may be established by the Secretary of the Interior, nor shall any conveyance of said lands be made to the party building and managing said road, until its completion as a first-class railroad and its acceptance as such by the Secretary of the Interior, and such rules and regulations as may be established by the Secretary of the Interior, nor shall any conveyance of said lands be made to the party building and managing said road, until its completion as a first-class railroad and its acceptance as such by the Secretary of the Interior.
We don't even have those kind of standard here. Where if someone a build anything for us and thing, like how we say China come here and a build highway, we now wait until it's completed, then we can negotiate and say, all right, yeah, here is your money, or we are give you 5 years for pay you guys back, and then you guys go about on a business. Our politicians now structure contract that way. Them allow, because they are puppet, them allow them puppet master to present them with whatever, one-way contract, and all them do is sign on to it and collect for them, finder's fee. So when China build road out here, or say them build road out here, then China end up own the road, where on into perpetuity, we as a people are pay for traverse these roads, for travel on these roads. You understand? By way of toll booths. All them things that we have to blow up these things. And then China now have access to all the land parallel to this highway. We go from one point in the island to the next point. So eventually China harbor are going to own us as a people, because the politician where we have, where our little common people are about to, and the political system where the other ones, them I say them is a part of and want to get involved with. These are the construct and the device and the instrument where sell out the people. Only because the people don't have knowledge of themselves. This is why I'm a light fire upon the hidden hand, because when it for ear, it not ear. This is why I'm a light fire upon a lot of these want to be special ones. These ones were things of them, special because them going to some Freemasonic brotherhood or lodge and learn some tricks and come out doing business, doing fancy commerce, and want the people to lord over them when they are some bossy slave. We say no to the slavery. We say no to the slavery. Enough, right? Whether voluntary or involuntary. None of it. But we now can identify what is until we really scrutinize everything. Now make them give us nothing. Now make them just tell us nothing. Now make them even just show us nothing. Make we look through all of these things for ourselves. And call a spade a spade. Not for to sell out. Not behave like, oh, my ancestors, your ancestors is a bunch of sellouts. Your ancestors want to get some rotted beaten. And most of you are the product of you sold out ancestors. This is why you're so easily placated. This is why all Babylon have to do is offer some dollars or some credit or some kind of carrot. I want to sell on a woman. Yet one of the ones them will act as if, oh, we mainland Indian, we are it. No. The moment you have a treaty attached to your nation or your tribe, your people sold out. That's what it is. Now we have to regroup and call a spade, accept what it was, and bring a new faculty come forward, a new energy. Just by the breakdown of these treaties, you know what I mean? It'll show you, say, yeah, people wanna sell this thing up. This is why the foreigners are, pervasive on the mainland. I don't want this kind of truth. Man like me, who would mind a truth. Because we are showing the true colors out there. As we go along, we're going to see the nations, them where, is a part of this thing. We want to sell out. So when Civil War go on, you have a set of Indian where I say, watch out, we not unite, Yeah, man, we are work with only for hold them boy and maintain slavery. That's why I want to come with this African descent. Who are the Africans here? Descent from where? What time period? What time frame?
1866, U.S. Treaty with the Seminole Nation. Primary document. Post-Civil War Division of Indian Territory, Oklahoma. Image Curtis. March 20. Article 1. There shall be perpetual peace between the United States and the Seminole Nation, and the Seminoles of agree to be and remain firm allies of the United States, and always faithfully aid the government thereof to suppress insurrection and put down its enemies.
You hear them thing, eh?
The Seminoles also agree to remain at peace with all other Indian tribes and with themselves. In return for these pledges of peace and friendship, the United States guarantee them quiet possession of their country and protection against hostilities on the part of other tribes, and in the event of such hostilities, that the tribe commencing and prosecuting the same shall make just reparation therefor.
So, you know, it's safe to say Creek Nation, Seminole Nation, I know one day all day, you know. Never post a link to this thing in the chat. Yeah, man, you see it, irrespective of the race.
Irrespective of race or color, whether at the time of said losses the claimants shall have been in servitude or not, provided said claimants are made members of said tribe by the stipulations of this treaty. Article 5. The Seminole Nation hereby grant a right-of-way through their lands to any company which shall be duly authorized by Congress, and shall, with the express
Any
consent and
corporation.
approbation of the Secretary of the Interior, undertake to construct a railroad from any point on their eastern to their western or southern boundary. But said railroad company, together with all its agents and employees, shall be subject to the laws of the United States relating to the intercourse with Indian tribes, and also to such rules and regulations as may be prescribed by the Secretary of the Interior for that purpose, and such rules and regulations as may be established by the Secretary of the Interior, nor shall any conveyance of said lands be made to the party building and managing said road, until its completion as a first-class railroad and its acceptance as such by the Secretary of the Interior.
That's what we in a half.
And such rules and regulations as may be established by the Secretary of the Interior, nor shall any conveyance of said lands be made to the party building and managing said road, until its completion as a first-class railroad and its acceptance as such by the Secretary of the Interior. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Robert Johnson, his ex-mark. Freedman.
All right, people. Irrespective of race or color, whether at time of said loss, the claimant shall have been in servitude or not. Boy, may I tell you. We as a people have to really find ourselves, man. What going on right now is too much, you know? Different things. And nobody want to come together to look at it and say, hold on, man. Hold on, man. What was here before? What was going on before? All right, so we have post-Civil War division of Indian territory. So we have land ceded to the United States government by the 5 nations, 1866. Who are the 5 nations that we are talking about right now? Cherokee Nation, because them I said this thing start from up in Canada. Creek Nation, Choctaw Nation, Seminole Nation, Chickasaw Nation. Interesting, high people. Yeah, man. Information share. Just information share, high people. And we are talking about a set of foreign people. We are land pirate. where the man them come and wipe out we warrior them. Cause you're gonna know say you have people like us where we not just give up, so we are fight to the death. So after most of we hold them kind of energy fight to the death. Then them subdue a weaker set of people and that go on. Yeah, man. And here you see where these 5 tribes what we really have to look into. Sign treaty with the foreign power. And I always say if we have a sign treaty, we have to be, again, or see benefits from those treaties. And it's a total opposite, so we have to question these things, man. This is why we have to choose up and ask some people, who are you? What is your point of origin? That's all it is. What is your point of origin? And let them demonstrate it. Because if you say my point of origin is Africa, prove it. Usually, the people we teach our people these nonsense, are the people them will come out of some biracial, relationship, where them mama come from one way and them daddy come from some other foreign place. And the child come up now looking like us, but have one of them kind of Oreo mind there. This is what causes the confusion. A lot of these teachers out here, them a teach so-called black people, but these teachers look black, but them not really black. So them mommy white somewhere around there. Know what I mean? But them little points that people will miss. So when a man for talk for my people and for I, him can't. Him have to sell out because him have to defend the next set of people that were is the oppressors. And them have the little mixed breed in between as a buffer. Yeah, man. Them they don't know to make sure say we are the peasant stock. Stay in your place. And then them have the ones them now will come after them now as the catchers of slave. Most of our people are slave catcher for the oppressor. But them not really see themselves that way. When he is a free man and step forward being free, your very own, I beat you down and say, oh, you're not free. Why? Because them can't grasp that concept. Them don't know what it is. They've never experienced it. Why? Some of them daddy has always been a sellout. Them mommy has always been a sellout. So they can come do nothing else but be a sellout. So when you are advocate for freedom, for them, it's an impossibility. Them can't make the same advocacy. Because them is a part of the problem. Them is a part of the oppression. But they will always deceive you and keep you in a passive state until you wait on some savior, which after hundreds of years of these foreign oppressors, we not have no savior. So we better choose to save ourselves. Simple. Anyway, 1866 U.S. treaty with the Seminole Nation. Information share. Too much sellout out there. And when our ancestors sell out the thing, when come now or act like when are some kind of revolutionary or anything like that. Pay attention to what's going on. Just pay attention, that's all. And then ask some question. And then draw your line and make your stand. You want dollars? Or you want the equivalence of those foreign dollars? What else you have to sell? Your soul? Gratitude, people. Gratitude.